All right, we are going to reconvene our regular meeting of the Board of Trustees at 7:07 p.m. And we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. And at this time, I'd like to invite Pastor Hutchins up to the podium. Thank you for our invocation for the evening.
Good evening, everyone. To our board, superintendent, let us pray. Gracious Father, thank you so much for today. No rain so far, and we were able to come in without umbrellas. We ask your blessings upon this assembly. Thank you so much for the community gathering tonight. We ask your blessings upon the superintendent's board. Grant them wisdom. Let this meeting be done decent and in order, and let us celebrate the accomplishments being made in this community. We thank you for all things you do, and you do them well. In your son's wonderful name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. And then we'll proceed on with our administration of the oath of office for our elected trustees. Ms. Flores?
I,
Elian English, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Little Elm ISD Board of Trustees of the state of Texas, and will be the best of my ability to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of state, so help me God.
thank you.
I, Jason Olson, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Little Elm ISD Board of Trustees of the state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
All right. And we'll move on to our introduction and roll call.
Mr. Dana Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. David Montemayor.
Here.
Mr. Jason Olson.
Here.
Mr. Dan Blackwood.
Present.
Mr. Alejandro Flores.
Here.
Dr. Monique Thompson. Ms. Melissa Myers. Here. And Mr. DeLeon English.
Here.
All right. And then moving on to our superintendent spotlight.
Yes, President Montemayor, board members, and audience members, thank you all so much for being here. This is great to see this room filled up with students and staff members. At this time, I'd like to invite our high school principal, Dr. Pretty. I don't see her. I know she's out here. All right, well, head up to the podium.
Come on,
I'm glad you're here. She is going to recognize our Students of the Month. And as always, it's awesome to see students at a board meeting. We haven't seen students a whole lot this year at board meetings, so it's great to have everyone here.
Right. Thank you, Board President, Little Elm ISD School Board, and Mr. Gallagher for this opportunity to present Students of the Month from Little Elm High School for February and May. And we are also recognizing today several students who have won state accomplishments as well. So first, we will start with our Students of the Month, and I would like to invite Jordan Gross up to the podium with me. All right, Jordan is our Lobo of the Month for February, and we're a little bit behind, that whole COVID thing, so we're getting caught up. So Jordan's teachers were quick to offer accolades about Jordan. His math teacher said Jordan is a very humble, extremely polite, and hardworking student. You didn't know people said all these nice things about you. Jordan always grasps the concepts quickly and checks for students around him, and then helps his classmates with assignments, sometimes before he even finishes his own. Students in my sixth period class do not just benefit from the academic help they receive, but more importantly, are impacted by his care and concern. With all the academic, athletic, and moral qualities Jordan possesses, he will be successful in any future he is planning to pursue. From his art teacher, Mr. Sparks, who's here with us this evening. So Mr. Sparks said that Jordan is a great student. He is always prompt, polite, and eager to help classmates when they ask him questions. And from Coach Stein, our athletic trainer, he said that Jordan is one of those kids you wish you had more of. He works very hard. He helps others whenever they need it. And if he is unsure, he becomes inquisitive. Always seems to be upbeat and has a smile on his face. You want Jordan to be around because he makes you better. And his coaches, Coach Jackson for basketball and Coach Harbin in baseball, they agreed that Jordan is a great representative of what we want in all of our Lobo students. Jordan has played baseball at Little Elm High School for the last 4 years. He has also been a part of the athletic trainers program starting his junior year. His favorite experience at Little Elm has been meeting new people and being part of the activities he is involved in. Jordan said the teacher that has impacted him the most was Coach Harbin. He isn't just a coach, but a friend to be there whenever he needed someone to talk to. He was the person I could go to. Jordan is here with his foster dad, Jordan McKnight, but also to his foster mom, Mary Jo McKnight. Please stand, Mary Jo, so we can recognize you. Jordan plans to attend Stephen F. Austin this fall, and he will major in physical therapy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I have that for you too. Right there. We're going to take your picture. Is Miss Jones here? Yeah, there you are. We'll do the next one. You want to stand right here?
That's all.
You stand right there. All right. Next, our next student of the month for May is Eduardo Vera. Come on up, Eduardo. Now, both of these students were selected because they make Little Elm a better place, and that's very important to me. Eduardo was first nominated to be Student of the Month by our nurse, Tony Nelson. She had this to say about Eduardo. Eduardo is the perfect, and she put it in all caps. Perfect student of the month. Daily, he sets the example of what it means to lead others. Eduardo gets off his bus, comes to the front doors, puts his bags down, and proceeds to hold the door open for all of the other students and staff. Not only his busload of students, but the following bus, and the next bus, and the next. He has been there every day since the beginning of school year, holding the door through any weather, cold and hot, rain, snow, or sunshine. He greets me every morning with a good morning. No one has ever asked him to do this. He just stepped up one day and decided to be a leader by serving. Well, since it's not a normal thing for a teenager to hold the door for people every day, I just checked with his teachers too to find out a little bit more about Eduardo in his classes. So I was rather overwhelmed by all of their responses. Just like Jordan, Eduardo is extremely kind and shows a lot of kindness and concern for others. Mr. Schragi said this: "When I got the news that Eduardo Vera would be Little Elm High School Student of the Month, I was instantly excited, mostly because he's been the MVP of the law enforcement room for the last 4 years. Eduardo is the type of student that makes his teacher want to come to work every single day. His desire to master the material and undeniable integrity make him a joy to be around. I've had a front row seat in watching him grow into a true leader for not only the rest of the law enforcement students, but the entire student body. I cannot think of another student more deserving of this award, and I can't wait to see what his future holds." And also his teacher, his forensics teacher, Ms. Fining, had this to say: "Eduardo is one of the kindest and most determined students I have ever met. In the classroom, he's dedicated to doing his best. Even if the concept doesn't click right away, he is always determined to understand the material before going forward. You do not see this quality in every student, but it shows a true dedication to learning and desire to actually learn and apply the information being presented. Not only is Eduardo dedicated, but he shows his kind heart in everything he does. From helping others when they need it to helping me with tasks in the classroom without even being asked, he helps brighten everyone's day without a second thought. I can only hope he sees these wonderful qualities in himself as we here at Little Elm see him. He embodies the qualities of a true Lobo." While at Little Elm, Eduardo has been involved in anime club, chess club, and guitar club. His favorite experiences at Little Elm are meeting new friends, being able to socialize more with other people, and receiving help from his teachers and staff. The teacher that has impacted him the most is his law teacher, Mr. Scott Schrage. Eduardo said this: "He is the most amazing, caring, and sociable teacher. His class was very educational and awesome. I loved every minute of it from my freshman year to my senior year." Eduardo, I will be sure to share that with Mr. Schrage. Eduardo's parents, Laurentina Roman and Eduardo Vera. Will you please stand, Ms. Roman? Be recognized. Congratulations, Eduardo. We are very proud of you, an example of kindness and consideration that you show to others every day at Little Elm High School.
Can you step in front of here?
I have my shot.
Ready? There we go. I know you're not used to it. Now open it up so we can spell it. What grade are you in?
Senior.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Are you good? Hey. Okay, next we're going to recognize our state winners. Aja Washington could not be here with us tonight, but I would like to ask Kiara Clements and Ava Herrera to come up and join me at the podium. And their teachers. Come on, teachers, bring that artwork. So we get a treat tonight because their competition just ended and their teacher was able to go and get their artwork so that they can show it to you this evening of why they were recognized at the state level. So this is a treat. Aja could not be here tonight, but her project was titled Family. Her medium was color pencil 2D. And in her artist statement, she said this about her work. And Ms. Conauer is her teacher. Ms. Conauer is going to show us her artwork. This photo was taken when I voted for the first time, and I wanted to commemorate that with this drawing. 5 days after my 18th birthday, I finally got to participate in our democracy, something I've always been excited about. The 2020 election was an important one for so many reasons, especially for Black Americans like me. And I finally got to be part of a voting statistic, and I got to vote with my parents, something I won't ever forget. So using bright colors, I really wanted to capture this moment. Aja's teacher is Melissa Conauer. Our next art student is Ava Herrera. And Ava is a sophomore here at Little Elm High School. Her piece is titled Into the Leaves, and she created a 2D art piece. She used watercolors and brush pen. It's amazing. Her artist statement submitted with her art to vase competition. I wanted to make it seem like you were lost in a forest, and the only thing you could see were leaves for miles and miles. The only thing guiding you, though, is the butterfly. For me, the butterfly means hope and guidance. The leaves are supposed to trap you and surround you, making you feel lost and alone. Seeing the butterfly is a tiny glimmer of hope and reassurance. It's beautiful. Her teacher is Kelly Sutherland. And we also have their awards that they are receiving from base competition, and their teacher is going to present them to them tonight. So Ava she also participates in chamber choir, and she was here with us last month because she was also being recognized as a state choir student. So she's busy. She wants to study law in college, but she is also thinking about going into art. Her parents are Michelle and Juan Herrera. If they would please stand for us. I saw them here. Congratulations, Ava, and thank you for representing Little Elm High School so well. Kira Clements is our third state art student, and Kira is a junior at Little Elm High School. Her piece is a 3D piece titled Adam and Eve. Her medium is white stoneware and underglaze. Her artist statement, the basic story of Adam and Eve, goes that Eve was tempted by the serpent and took a bite out of a forbidden apple and convinced Adam to sin as well. Originally, the story provoked the imagery of a woman overtaking a man's conscience. This piece represents my individual point of view by showing the way I, at least at the time, view the Adam and Eve story in the Bible. I think my creativity and individuality are shown through the faces. I chose to do something that meant something to me rather than just another piece of artwork. The faces are both very different with their own meanings. Nice. Kira's art teacher is Mr. Chris Malia. At Little Elm High School, Kira also participates in music club as well as art. And her plans after high school are to major in architecture and design and become an architect. Her parents are Robin and Rob Clements. Will you please stand so we can recognize you? So congratulations to all of our art students. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Thank you. All right, next I would like to recognize 3 students, 1 for academic UIL and 2 for athletics. So if we could have Melissa Sosa come up and Casey Bowley and Jax Brown. Come on up. I'm going to recognize all 3 of you, and then we'll take a picture. Look at all these medals y'all have, all this hardware. All right, next I would like to introduce Melissa Sosa. Melissa recently competed at the state meet for academic UIL, and she placed 6th in the state in copy editing. Melissa is a sophomore at Little Elm High School and is also involved in yearbook and choir. Melissa said that what surprised her most about the competition process, because this was her first year, by the way, was that it came so naturally to her. This was her first year ever doing the competition, and making it all the way to state was such a big accomplishment. She has always been the one to help others with grammar or spelling, so to have that skill take her to state and win a medal is quite an accomplishment. She would like to recognize her support system for academic UIL, Mrs. Sherry White and Mrs. Michelle Gentry. She is here tonight with her mom, Nellie Sosa, and also her dad, Carlos Sosa. Please stand. Melissa plans to continue competing in copy editing and will continue doing yearbook until she graduates. She is still trying to decide what she wants to study after high school. You got time. You're still a sophomore. But she is definitely interested in music management or sonography, and she also plans to continue with her photography too outside of school. All right. All right. Next, we're going to recognize success in our wrestling program. Last month, we recognized Casey Bowley as a Student of the Month. Since then, Casey has competed at the state UIL championships in wrestling. Casey had this to say about wrestling. There's more to wrestling than just strength. It requires skill and fast thinking. You may only be wrestling one-on-one, but I've learned that it's definitely not an easy sport. And not only is it a one-on-one sport, but you need your team to succeed as well. Casey said that it was amazing to be part of something, especially when it's brand new. We want to congratulate Casey on a great season. Although she didn't place at state, she did make history this year by becoming our first ever first place district champion in wrestling, placing at regionals and earning a chance to wrestle for a state medal. In addition to wrestling, Casey has been involved in varsity cheerleading, varsity volleyball, club volleyball, varsity cross country, varsity powerlifting, and varsity track. Casey is deciding between Texas A&M and Oklahoma Baptist University for the fall. Her parents are here with her tonight, Burl and Lee Bowley. If you'll please stand for us. Congratulations. Also, and just congratulations, Casey. We're very, very proud of you. I owe you this from last month, too. hold on to that. Okay. You hold on to that. You stand right over here. All right. And now we have Mr. Jax Brown. All right. Our next state wrestler is Jax Brown. Jax is a senior at Little Elm High School after a successful football career as a Lobo, one that earned him an opportunity to play college football in Colorado. Jax thought he would try his hand at wrestling. Jax recently competed at the state UIL championship in the toughest weight class division, being outweighed probably about 30 pounds by every single one of his opponents. His record is 30-5.
Wow.
That's amazing. In only 1 year of competition, Jax finished 5th in the state for the heavyweight title, for the heavyweight weight group, correct? He is here tonight with his parents, Tammy and Phil Brown, if you will stand. Jax plans to attend the University of Northern Colorado and play football and major in psychology. He said the thing that taught him, that he learned from wrestling, is perseverance. He is here also tonight. We have our 2 wrestling coaches, and I would like to invite them up, Miss Yolanda Simon and Coach Michael McBride, if you'll come up as well. I'm going to make them walk. Take the picture. All right, you want to get these first? Just the kiddos.
Oh, parents.
Parents have to get out.
I think I have a.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Purdy. And again, students, congratulations, incredible accomplishments, and way to represent Little Elm ISD. Just so proud to have you all in attendance tonight. And parents, thank you all for being here. Next, I would like to ask Mrs. Keisha Brown to come to the podium to recognize another student.
Thank you, Superintendent Gallagher, Board President and Board members, administration. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. Tonight, I have the privilege of recognizing 2 of our students from Little Elm High School with the President's Volunteer Service Award. So a little bit about that award. In 2003, the President's Council on Service and Civic Participation founded the President's Volunteer Service Award to recognize the important part that America's volunteers play in our country's strength and national identity. This award honors those citizens whose commitment to service positively impacts communities in every corner of the nation and inspires others to give back. Starting with the 2019-2020 school year, Little Elm High School is recognized as a certifying organization for this award. Little Elm High School is proud to be able to recognize our students who are committed to serving the community, as well as assisting them with the opportunity to achieve such a prestigious award as the President's Volunteer Service Award. So tonight, I would like to welcome 2 sophomores who, and I'll say a little bit about them, I am very, very proud of, and we're all very proud of. Our first sophomore, Miss Isis Vineyard. She will be receiving the Bronze Level Award for completing 60 or more hours at her age level, which is age 11 to 15 years old. So congratulations, Isis. And could I have Mr. and Mrs. Vineyard please stand? Your pants. Yes, if you all could please stand and to be her parents. Yes. Thank you so much. And I believe someone is here from Love Packs that, yes, could you please stand? Thank you. And ISIS does a lot of work with Love Packs. So thank you so much. And next, I want to ask Miss Noelle Henry, who's also a sophomore at Little Elm High School, to please come forward. And Miss Noelle will be receiving the Silver Level Award this evening for completing 80+ hours of community service in her age group, which is also 11 to 15 years old. So congratulations. And her mother is here with her, Miss Noelle Henry, who is a teacher at Little Elm High School. So. Before we take pictures of these accomplished young ladies who again are only sophomores and can continue to get to go on into the gold level if they choose to do so. But I would like to mention that we did become a certifying organization in the 2019-2020 school year. And to date, we have recognized 13 of our students at Little Elm High School with this award. So congratulations. So they each get a certificate and a pin that they can wear at the graduation ceremony. And then,
And Mrs. Brown, do you want to get in the picture with them?
Yes.
sure.
I want to thank you, while they're taking pictures, I want to thank Mrs. Brown, Keisha, for your work on this with the certification, and what an opportunity for our students to be recognized with this award. So great job to these two students, and Mrs. Brown, thank you so much for your work. All right, next, I would like to ask our Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Ross Roberts, to the podium to recognize some of our employees. And this, and I won't steal your thunder, but I will say this recognition is very important to me as well. Love recognizing our students, but I want to say a thank you to these employees that we'll be recognizing in just a minute. They are members of the Superintendent Employee Advisory Committee, and we call it SEEK. And what's so great about this group is it's a direct line of communication to me and our team here at Central Office. This group of people, professionals, have been amazing to work with. We would meet typically about once a month, once every couple months. First year we've done this, and it was awesome. They've provided an incredible amount of feedback for us to take back in our planning for professional development, for our calendar, even the calendar that we're in this current year. As we all know, this has been the most challenging year for all of us, for students for sure, but I'll tell you, for teachers, I can't say enough for the work that they did this year under these conditions. I've never seen it, and I never want to see it again, because they are just heroes. They've worked more than I think I can even explain. So this group right here, this committee, we're going to keep this committee together again for another year, because again, just very, very, very informative, and it's been a blessing working alongside this group. So, Mr. Roberts.
Well, there you go. From start to finish, that's everything that I was going to share.
Well, I'm sure you have more to say.
And we do a lot of things together in terms of teaching and working with leadership groups. And so we play off each other. And so that's kind of how it goes. And so Mr. Gallagher took that from start to finish and really did a nice job explaining what this committee is about. So Board President, Board of Trustees, thank you very much, Superintendent Gallagher. And he should be proud of this, because it was his brainchild coming up with always us looking in the mirror, and always us as leaders taking the necessary steps to look in the mirror and to always be our sharpest and always be our best, so that that can be passed throughout our organization. So SEEK members, as I finish up what I'm going to say,
But we're very crowded tonight, which is absolutely fantastic. It has put a smile on my face, and it is incredible seeing everyone. So if you will, go ahead and come up and make your way around. There's about 8 members with us tonight. So go ahead and stand up, and y'all are going to walk around. Y'all can already start coming up here. I think there's enough room. I was going to line you up over here.
No, they're good.
But we can do it. So Mr. Gallagher explained the best. You know, so many times as district leaders, we always talk about making sure that we do not forget what it's like to be on campus. And so this group was absolutely outstanding in giving us that continuous feedback and really allowing us to spend incredible evenings with them. It's an all-star group. And like Mr. Gallagher said, we really don't know what to do with them, so we're going to keep them. You know, it's our first cohort, and we don't know, you know, to build off of this. And I think it's such a dynamic group, and we got so much value from them that we're going to keep them and just build on this group. So on behalf of Zeller's leadership and superintendent's leadership, we can't tell you guys enough how much we appreciate you and your commitment to the students and to your faculty, to your staff, and to your buildings. So everything that you do. We talk about leadership is not a position, but it's a mindset. And these people exemplify that, and we really appreciate you. So we have a very nice certificate that I'm going to call your names. Y'all can come up and receive that. And, you know, one of the main purposes of our Superintendent Employee Advisory Committee, SEEK, is really to strengthen us and our systems, and also to be on a continuous cycle of receiving that feedback. This group here did that, and it was such a joy. So thank you all very much. Mr. Gallagher, do you want to come up and hand them their certificate as I call their name? So first up, we have Irene Bagby. Such a cool name, Blaze Brockman. Miss Andrea Diaz. Carla Figueroa. Dina Glitzos. Don Noto. Teresa Span. And I practiced this one, and this is Ivan Ugliavovich. It took a while. Yeah. So thank you all very much. Oh, Julia. I'm sorry, Julia. We've got one. I'm so sorry. We had you even highlighted. There you go. And Julia Espinoza. I know. And with graduation, you know, the end of this week, and Dr. Pretty, she's eyeballing me right now. We cannot say enough. Julia is probably ready to put her hands on me by doing that. So I apologize. She is absolutely fantastic and just does an incredible job. So thank you, Julia.
Short people in the front. I'll let y'all go down. Go down a little bit.
Here, Ross, you put it on that end.
I'm short.
Can you get all of us?
Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Good. Got it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
It's like musical chairs.
Yep. Again, thank you. That group is amazing, and what a great way for us to learn and to grow as leaders, to work right alongside our staff members. And again, SEEK is not just teachers, it's employees from different areas of the school district. So it's just a great group of people. Next, President Montemayor, board members, we started this, I believe it was 2 board meetings ago. It's something that I felt was really important to start because we've got so many organizations in Little Elm ISD that come and support our teachers, support our students, support the district as a whole. We really wanted to start recognizing those organizations. And the first organization we recognized, if you remember, was Crossroads Church. Great organization that supports our high school, but supports all of our schools. They do great things for the district. This month, I want to recognize another organization that, many people might think it's part of the school district, and it's not. It's a completely separate organization. But what they do for our district is absolutely incredible. It's our Little Elm ISD Education Foundation. So this is going to be our recognition for them and our way to say thank you to them. So at this time, I would like to ask Deidre Miller to come up along with, we can actually get the whole board up here if you want to get the whole board up. So the Community Partnership Award is, like I say, something that we started to say thank you to these organizations. This foundation is absolutely amazing. Now, we did have an education foundation years and years and years ago, but this group right here really is still relatively new. And this group that you see up here is making this foundation stronger and stronger and stronger each year. And the events that they're doing to raise money for our students and teachers, they get better and better and just more successful. We just had an event, was it 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago at the polo, one of the polo grounds, and it was fun. I've never been out there, so for me it was something new.
Go ahead and tell them about your first.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
Go ahead.
I've never ridden a horse. Now I didn't ride a horse. Well, I wasn't okay. That was the closest I've actually been to a horse, and they couldn't believe it. I said, I've never been this close to a horse. So anyway, this is being streamed. I'm going to end this. I'm giving too much information here. So let me get back to the foundation. The foundation in the last 4 years has distributed $125,000 to our teachers to use in the classroom for our students. So that's a lot of money going right to our kids. And they also have raised money for scholarships for our students. And I believe it was just over $20,000 that we've given to students in grants over the last 4 years as well. And I'm really proud to say that this group, just this past year, and I don't know the exact amount, but I want to say it's over $10,000 that they raised and gave for the Jerry Walker Memorial Scholarship. So a huge round of applause for the foundation for that. So on behalf of the school district, behalf of Little Elm ISD, I want to present this. I only have one. I wish I had one for each of you.
Like it's
Yes. It's like a Super Bowl trophy, but I only have one. So you guys can share and each week keep it in one of your offices. But what a great organization, and just thank you. And Kathy is our outgoing president. So a huge round of applause for her. And Lindsay Reyes is our incoming president. So huge round of applause for her. And I want to say a special thank you to Deidre Miller.
He does all the work.
And yes, Deidre is our administrator for the foundation, and it's a full-time job, but it's really part-time. We really want to make it a full-time position for you, but you've just done an amazing, amazing job. So I'm going to hand this to Deidre. Do you want to say?
A few words, yes.
I'm going to let Deidre say a few words.
Thank you. We have a great group of volunteers, but I do want to take some time to just thank Kathy for her time as our president. She's ending her term for the past 2 years as the president of our organization, and she led us through COVID-19 as a nonprofit, which has been interesting to say the least. But I want to let you know that we raised more money this year than ever. So our community really came through. But we just have a little thank you for Kathy. To thank you for your time and service. It's been fun. We laugh a lot. And good luck to Lindsay and the rest of our board. They're all staying still.
Do you want to introduce her again real quick?
Yes, this is Kathy Capsworn, our outgoing president. Lindsay Reyes, our incoming president. Sandy Tutwiler, our incoming VP of Development. You'll be seeing a lot of her. Larry Salerno, who's just forever Larry. Larry is our VP of the Alumni Association. Shout out for the Alumni Association. It's a great organization too. Denise Honti, one of our past presidents as well. Joe Florentino, our VP of Finance, and Pastor James Hutchins, my go-to for anything I can't think how to carry on.
Hey, Daniel? Yeah, I want to say something. I just want to say it is a really heartfelt thank you to this group. It really means a great deal. When I got on the board in 2014, we had really talked about, because we did not have a foundation, and most people don't know this, we didn't have a foundation for our children. And the idea and concept came from one of our great supporters, Aaron Moody, about the Little Elm Foundation. And this foundation came about, and it's incredible to see now what they've done over the years for our children. So it's really heartfelt to say thank you so much for all the hard work that you guys are doing with support our kids. And I just can't thank you very much enough. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yep, awesome. Let's do a real quick picture. Why don't you get in the middle? Yeah, y'all get in the middle and get on the hand. Yeah, and I do want to say that the polo event, they raised just at that event $31,000, which that's a lot more than what we were thinking. So congratulations. That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, you're welcome.
Keep pushing. Come on. Keep coming. Keep coming. Lean it. There we go. We got it. Ready? Here we go. All right, one more.
I'd like to thank Mr. Gallagher, and he's going to be on the horse next year.
Hey, it'll be a fundraiser.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I saw it all at the station thing, yeah.
All right, and foundation members, thank you all for being here. You're welcome to stay, but you don't have to. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a great night. And also parents, thank you all for being here. We really appreciate your support and supporting having your kids here as well. That was awesome. All right, board members, at this time, we're going to move to reports of the superintendent.
Yep.
So I would like to invite Dr. Cindy Micka up for a curriculum and learning update.
Good evening, President Montemayor, Superintendent Gallagher, and board members. I'm here for the May 2021 Curriculum and Learning Update. And the first update I have for you is on legislative action involving the ethnic studies. House Bill 1504, which incorporates the ethnic studies in this new legislation, was passed by the House on May 10th. and has since been referred to the Senate committee. I checked today, and it was engrossed by the House and sent to the Senate committee to get onto their calendar for their public hearings. And this House Bill 1504 incorporates ethnic studies into some of the social studies curriculum. The next thing that I wanted to talk about this evening, we're really excited about this, is the NICE campus certification. 2 years ago, we began this process with the National Institute for STEM Education. And last year, we had 2 campuses, Hackberry, led by Stephen Richardson, and Prestwick, led by Christy Gibson, which earned their campus STEM certifications. And then this year, under the leadership of Christy Gibson, she stayed on as in an advisory role, and Jennifer Bernabo, our science coordinator. I am happy to say that we have 4 campuses: Brent, led by Carrie Custer; Chavez, led by Liz Miller; Strike, led by Kelly Hastings; and Walker, led by Kelly Carr, who received their campus certification in the past few weeks. And so we're going to ask those principals to come on up, and then I'll go through the rest of my presentation. But I wanted to show you one of the plaques and the banners arrived at Brent Elementary, so you will actually be able to see what we are going to be giving the campuses and also posting on their buildings. So this is the plaque that they will receive that will be for their buildings. And so each campus will be receiving this. And then the campuses will also be having ceremonies. And they actually start tomorrow at, I believe, Chavez. And the teachers who received their teacher certification will receive a white lab coat. And then they will receive their plaque, and then also this huge banner that's behind me. So it's just a way to say how proud we are of them and their hard work, because it truly is a lot of hard work. In order for a campus to receive their certification, not only does the campus have to go through action planning, but they have to have teachers that complete the individual teacher certification. And we had 45 teachers at these 4 campuses that completed their certification this year. And so under the leadership of Carrie Custer, we had Demina, Carrie, Erica, Sarah, Aloysia, Jessica, Ashley, and Jose completed their certification.
And I want to make a correct, I think it's Damien Grove.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
Damien. We renamed him for this. Liz Miller led the Chavez group and had Arcadia, Heather, Blaze, Wendy, Audrey, Amanda, Lori, Shanna, and Kristen received their certifications. And at Strike Middle School, under the leadership of Kelly Hastings, we had Manuel, Jeannie, Tiffany, Hillary, Kaylee, Michael, Nick, and Tabitha. And at Walker, under the leadership of Kelly Carr, we had Sarah, Casey, Doug, Sheila, Elnora, Stacy, Crystal, Leanne, and Kyla complete their certifications. And then, not to be outdone, Prestwick and Hackberry got additional teacher certifications on top of the certifications they had already received last year. And these teachers here also joined the ranks of getting the certification and continuing the learning for those campuses and the movement. And so we are really pleased and thankful for the leadership of the principals and for the hard work of the teachers of continuing the step of making sure that no matter what zip code you live in Little Elm ISD, we are going to have STEM education at all of our campuses. And next year, our last 3 campuses will be obtaining their campus certifications. and that will be Lakeview, Oak Point, and Little Elm High School. And as a result, we at the district level will also stand up a committee and will finish our certification process over. It will take us 2 to 3 years to finish the district certification process once we begin. And so we look forward to having Lakeview, Oak Point, and Little Elm standing right here with us next year at this time. And then the district will be well on their way towards earning the district certification. And if the timing is right, we might be the first district in Texas to get that certification. And so we're excited about that, but it's due to the hard work of Hackberry and Prestwick leading the way, and then these 4 wonderful campuses continuing that step that we're able to start our process next year as well. So thank you for your support in this, because without the board members and your approval for us to obtain these certifications, this would not be possible at our campuses. So thank you.
Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to add to that. I mean, it's amazing, for years, we were explaining to people that, yes, we do follow the STEM curriculum, and all that, but to now see the recognition of the actual Institute of STEM education out there recognizing that is pretty amazing. To see the teachers buying in, the principals buying in, is just wonderful to see, and it'll be amazing to hopefully be the first district in the state.
We actually, there's 2 other districts that started this year, but because we have so many campuses that already have obtained it, and we have the 3 left, that we might actually jump over them, and it's very possible we'll be the first in the nation. But I don't want to promise that. We're going for first in Texas right now. But we are proud of it, and thank you for their leadership, because it's not just occurring in science, but they each have individual campus plans, and it's integrated across the curricular areas. And so we couldn't be more pleased, because we know that when something occurs at the campus level, not at the district level pushed down, but if it's a grassroots effort from the campus level is when it truly gets implemented. So thank you once again to the campus administrator leadership, but also for all of these teachers. Not only did they get their certification, but they did it in COVID.
Yeah.
And a lot of these teachers at the elementary level also did it while they were obtaining their Reading Academy state certifications. So there was a lot on their plates, and they pushed through and continued with the challenge because it was that important to them and their campus. So thank you for your leadership. We appreciate it. Now comes the part of my report that I'm going to talk about the District Destination 2025 district goals. And so we had one area of this that was due this month, and it dealt with CTE. And LEASD will engage each student in learning experiences that lead to increased college, career, and military opportunities for post-secondary success, as evidenced by the following. And our goal was to create a CTE community advisory board or boards to enhance those opportunities for our students considering local regional needs. And so under the direction of Dr. J.J. Ayers, he created mini boards, mini community advisory boards, M-I-N-I, not M-A-N-Y, so that what he found was that when he had just one advisory board, that it didn't get to the specifics of the needs for that industry. And so he looked at our different pathways and created smaller advisory boards that would look specifically at that industry. And so we have Aaron Tavo, Ajayi Omotayo, Bill Webb, Christopher Edwards, Claudia Fields, David Hillock, Desmond Bibbs, Kristen Bullard, Mark Rutledge, and Whitney Golke, who served on our community advisory boards. And they have met throughout the year with Dr. Ayers. And then this summer, he is bringing the entire board together to focus on more global issues with the CTE community. And so he's been really proud of the work that they have done this year in advising. Any questions for me?
No, it's awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mika. And again, principals, thank you so much for your leadership of all years. It's been a tough year, but you guys have done an amazing job this year, and just looking forward to more great things to come. I'll take a minute to thank Mrs. Miller and wish her well in her next adventure. She did a great job at Chavez, but we do have a new Chavez principal that was announced this afternoon, Mrs. Gibson. So thank you all so much for your leadership.
My next report is on the COVID-19 protocols update for you this evening. And so when we first realized that this pandemic was going to stick around and we were going to come back and work together under the pandemic, we developed protocols for health and for safety. And it started off with the protocols we developed strictly for our administrative group at Zellers and the campuses when we came back to work the first week of June last summer. And so those primarily were implemented to protect the health and safety of our staff and students. But also the protocols played a huge part because if you'll remember back to the beginning of this pandemic, we didn't have personal PPE. You couldn't find a mask. You couldn't find hand sanitizer. You couldn't find gloves. And so in order for us to operate safely and to get back to some semblance of working together, we had to put in place protocols that we felt kept us and our students safe. Now, there's not a lack of personal PPE. It's everywhere. And so that has been a huge game changer for us. Also, the case counts have gone down in the nation, across Texas, and also across our school district. And then vaccinations. Anyone that's 12 and up, the vaccinations are now readily available. All of our staff in LEISD have been afforded the opportunity to be vaccinated here locally when we stood up the clinic in March and April. And as of about 2 hours before the board meeting, and the principals don't even know this yet, but we will be standing up a clinic for our students and families 12 and up. And the first clinic will be next Wednesday at Chavez Elementary. Liz is going to let us use her campus. And so that email with the notification to all of our parents will be going out tomorrow. And that will be once again with Tom Thumb, who we had the great partnership with when we vaccinated our staff. So this is 100% voluntary, but we wanted to be able to be a hub for that vaccine clinic for any parent that wished to get their children and themselves vaccinated without having to travel to the Speedway to do so. And so with those changing circumstances, these two here, and then also the readily available with the PPE, we would like to make changes to our protocols for summer 2021 and beyond. This evening, I know that the board will be discussing face coverings. And so pending board approval this evening, face coverings will be optional for staff and students. And then we do want to say that optional. So we do want to make sure that you know that our staff, if you do choose to go this route, that our staff will work to ensure that no student is treated differently based on their choice to wear a face covering or not. We don't want anything to be said to them negatively or not, that whether they choose to wear a face covering or not. So that will be something that our staff will be working on. The next is reporting. So staff and parents will still be required to report positive cases to campus administration, but we will be taking down the online dashboard beginning May 24th. So that's a week from today. We won't update the dashboard daily anymore. But parents will still be notified when a positive case occurs in their student's class or UIL group. And when I mean class, we do have summer school still going on. So if we do have a positive case during summer school or during one of the athletic camps or any of the other UIL activities that are going on during the summer, those parents will still be notified that there was a positive case. Social distancing, when possible, 6-foot social distancing will be maintained. But the big thing here is that visitors will be allowed back on our campuses according to our standard visiting rules pre-pandemic. And so, as you know, we haven't had visitors allowed on our facilities since the pandemic began, except for UIL events. And so we wanted to welcome our community and our parents back onto our campuses for different events and meetings. In the terms of close contact and quarantine, staff will no longer be conducting those close contact reviews, and quarantines will only be required for those who test positive for COVID-19. As you know, we've had a huge COVID task force led by Tony Nelson on the student side and Ashley Brown, Renee Pentecost on the staff side. And so I know that this will be a huge sigh of relief for them that we won't be spending hours conducting those close contact reviews anymore. So, but some important notes. As always, the health and safety and staff remains a priority in Little Elm. And these protocols, although they're changing now, are subject to change again if anything changes with the Texas Education Agency or the governor. And then also, we want to reserve the rights that should case counting increase in Little Elm ISD, that we may revisit these protocols at any time as we feel needed. But we did feel that it was time with the changing circumstances that we made the move before heading into the summer months to change our protocols. Do you have any questions for me?
Dr. Mick, the only question I have, and it's not really concerning the face masks, is are we still going to have up the shields in the classes, or are we going to take down all of that also?
Yes, we'll be taking that down as well.
Okay.
We did make that announcement to the district several days back. Have we gotten any major blowback or anything like that? Do we know?
Actually, a lot of thank yous from community members, and yeah, a lot on social media, very positive comments. But like Dr. Micah said, this is subject to change. We all know COVID has changed throughout the year, and we've seen numbers skyrocket that we really can't explain. Then they plummet. Fortunately, we've seen the downward trend continue, and we're all praying that we'll continue to see that, not just here, but nationwide.
And we will continue to be part of Judge Eads' COVID task force. We meet once every 2 weeks on Monday afternoons. And so being part of that and hearing straight from their epidemiologists, if I said that right, about case counts and what they are seeing has also led us to feel comfortable making these changes. But that is a huge source of information for us. And so we'll continue to be a heavy membership participation of that task force as well. Thank you. Oh, yes, ma'am.
For those students who are, because May 20, this fall, they won't have the option for virtual learning.
No, ma'am.
Right. So those students who haven't been back on campus the whole year, how are we transitioning them from a year of virtual learning back into the campus setting?
Thank you. Some of them are actually coming back for summer school. And so any of the students who were not able to gain credit at the secondary level will be coming to summer school face-to-face this summer. And then we also have a couple of our campuses at the elementary level will be doing a lit camp at the beginning. We'll also have, and this would only address the students that were pre-K or maybe 6th or 9th grade, but at the beginning of the year, this year, the day before school starts, we're actually having a prep the pack. That's what we called it, right? Prep the pack for our incoming kinder, 6th and 9th grade to be on campus for the first time. But you bring up some really good points about transitioning the students that have been off a full year back into. And so that's something that we'll have to take under consideration now that something that honestly I hadn't thought about.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, any other questions? Thank you. So with that, Ms. Flores, do we have any citizen input?
Yes, sir.
It's 3 minutes, right? All right, so we do have two individuals. We'll start off with Ms. Sabrina Garza. She is wants to speak about the African American Studies course. Ms. Garza? She does, I'll call her name after and see if she comes in. Then we have Lindsay Luckett. Is it Luckett or Luckett? Luckett. And also to speak to the African American Studies course. So Ms. Luckett, if at the podium you say your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes. I'll give you a 1 minute warning if necessary.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lindsay Luckett, and my address is 2352 White Oak Drive in Little Elm, Texas. I wanted to address the board today about an ongoing request that I made last year, and I'm not a public speaker and I'm very nervous, so please bear with me through my shaky voice and hands. In June of 2020, I reached out to Superintendent Gallagher about my request for our district to offer African American studies to our high school students. He directed me to Principal Dr. Pretty, and she told me that adding the course offerings requires student request. She said that she would love to offer the courses such as the one I suggested. However, they need a minimum of 20 students interested before considering adding it as a future course. I then reached out to the parents in our district through social media posts and had almost 200 people responding saying that they want this course offered for their children. I contacted Dr. Pretty again and let her know that there is interest and asked about the next steps to make it happen. She replied saying that they will not be able to offer it in the next year because the master schedule was already completed. I responded again by asking about the next steps to make the course a future reality for our students. This was during summer break, so she replied that she was on vacation and would be happy to visit with me about it when she returned. I waited 2 months and still did not have a response on how to get this course approved, so I messaged her again and said that I know that there's a lot going on and that everything is overwhelming with coronavirus, but I wanted to make sure that the request wasn't forgotten. In August, I contacted Mr. Gallagher again to inform him of my lack of progress on it, and he redirected me to Assistant Superintendent Dr. Mika. She told me that the schedule was already set and complete for the next 2 years and that she would be sure to meet with Dr. Pretty to discuss the feasibility of my request. I did not hear back from anyone after that. The school year had started and I was overwhelmed with my at-home learners, and I know that was a difficult time for teachers and staff as well, so I decided to put this on the back burner while everyone was adjusting. I plan to readdress it at the end of the year when things had settled down. I was thrilled when the district sent out the parent survey in February to gauge community perspective on potential high school studies offerings. The survey included questions regarding Mexican American and African American study courses. I was unable to find the results of the survey posted anywhere, so I am here today to make sure that you see that this is very much something that parents are interested in. The TA is recognizing and responding to the need for cultural studies that allow our children to explore the gaps left by traditional history classes. They approved Mexican American Studies in 2018, African American Studies in 2020, and are currently working on approving a Native American and Indigenous Peoples course. I would love to see all of these courses offered, but since I have specifically requested African American Studies, I'll be focusing on that one today. African Americans have a rich and diverse history that includes so much more than slavery and the Civil Rights Movement. The course that I'm requesting allows students to gain a deeper understanding of U.S. and world history. Having student engagement from a teacher comfortable with the content has been profound for students in other districts that were allowed the opportunity to take this course. The students gained an appreciation for the contributions of African Americans that they previously hadn't learned about. They gained knowledge of key people, events, and ideas that shaped America into what she is today. This course fosters discovery and empowerment through creating a space of inclusiveness and respect for all cultures. On our district webpage, we have listed our values, vision, and mission. It states that we are a small community with big opportunities, that we are one family, one community, and one pack. I think that we need to embrace this opportunity to learn more about each other before we can truly be one pack. We value the highest qualities of character, excellence, integrity, respect, and compassion. Learning the history and importance of other cultures is exactly what we need to develop these qualities in ourselves and in our students. Our vision is to be the destination district. Our mission is to engage, equip, and empower each and every student to realize their full potential. I feel that allowing our students to dive deeper into our history is crucial to fulfilling our mission. The page states that we are unleashing every individual's highest potential by inspiring creativity, nurturing self-confidence, and committing to accountability. We are creating a community where every student loves to learn and expanding opportunities for achievement. We are embracing all of our kids as all of our kids by igniting passion while valuing and recognizing every student. Our district prides itself on being open, transparent, and timely. Now is the time to act. Please don't allow our students to fall behind. Multiple states and dozens of ISDs in Texas are offering African American studies to their high school students. We will do a disservice to our children and community if we don't allow them the same opportunity to learn and grow through a deeper understanding of history. Many of us took courses similar to this in college, but African American history is American history. We shouldn't just sit back and hope that our children go to college and pay to take this specific course. We should be allowing all of our children the same opportunity to learn the historical importance of African Americans by offering this course in our high school. I'm asking that you hold yourselves up to all the wonderful things that our district stands for by committing to valuing African American history, and it's important to all of our students. I'm also asking that you hold yourselves accountable to the desire of our students to learn and not let this opportunity pass us by. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Did Ms. Garza come in? Okay. Ms. Luckett, thank you very much. Okay. Next item on the agenda is our approval of minutes. We will consider the regular board minutes from our April 19th, 2021 meeting. If everyone's had a chance to review and go over those minutes, there's a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there, Mr. Olson, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Blackwood, is there any questions or comments
No changes.
on those minutes? All right. All those in favor of approving the minutes? Anyone recused? Motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, we have onto our action items. We have consider the approval of board resolution regarding face masks. Let me get to that. So I have to read all of it, right? Okay. Okay, so resolution of the Board of Trustees of Little Elm Independent School District. Whereas the Board of Trustees here in the board of the Little Elm Independent School District here in the district is authorized by Code 11.51 of the Texas Education Code here in TEC to govern and oversee the management of the public schools in the district. And whereas on March 2nd, 2021, the governor of the state of Texas issued Executive Order GA 34, wherein COVID-19 occupancy limits and mask mandates were rescinded for business and other organizations in Texas. And public schools were directed to operate in accordance with guidance from the Texas Education Agency. And whereas on March 3rd, 2021, TEA issued updated guidance regarding COVID-19 mask use and reiterated the requirement for face coverings and mask masks in public schools. And whereas TEA's updated guidance authorizes the governing board of a school district to modify or eliminate TEA's mask-related requirements by formal action. And whereas the board believes a mask mandate for the district is unnecessary beginning May 21st, 2021, and desires to eliminate TEA's mask-related requirements for approval of this resolution. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Little Elm Independent School District, resolved, the Board of Trustees finds a mask mandate for the district is unnecessary beginning May 21st, 2021. Resolved, the board recognizes that individuals on district property may wear masks at their discretion to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby eliminates TEA's mask-related requirements for the Little Elm Independent School District beginning May 21st, 2021, until such further notice, unless the Board takes action otherwise. Passed and approved this day. What is this day? 17th of May, 2021. That's the motion put forward. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So
Melissa, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Blackwood. Questions, comments?
The only question would be, can we make it effective tomorrow?
Yeah, how would that work if the resolution is written a certain way?
Motion to cancel the first motion, and then a motion to change the date to tomorrow.
Is there an overwhelming desire of the board to change it to effective tomorrow?
I say let's leave it at the end of the school year.
Yeah, just finish out the school year.
Finish out the school year.
Yeah, so the school's in, then.
Dr. Thompson?
I think we should let us finish out the school year, but midnight on the 20th, because the school year ends for us on the 20th, correct?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
midnight on the 20th, making it clear that we mean midnight on the 20th, so graduation day, we're clear. So midnight on the 20th.
That's a good point. Yeah, the 21st. So making this effective on the 21st does mean it's at start of the day of the 21st, right? Not in the day of the 21st? Okay. Mr. English? Yeah, I have, I've thought about it a lot. I mean, I would like to make it immediate as well. I just think, it's a hot topic. We're so close to the end, but yeah, it's a very good point. Graduation is on the 21st. So I think making that clear, making it for summer camps, summer school, i.e., and then getting everyone prepared for the state of operations going forward in the next school year. So I didn't hear an overwhelming need to change this as previously read.
So they won't be required graduation because graduation's
On the 21st.
Correct.
So it's optional graduation.
That's my understanding.
Because it's written as the 21st, so we're saying it's.
It's
I
written
need a
as
motion
it's,
to cancel the first.
Hold on.
We would still need. a motion to
Beginning,
cancel.
so what it is, so the district is actually beginning May 21st. So the May 21st is the beginning of the optional
Period.
period,
So
on.
we gotta reverse the suggestion to.
No, it didn't reach.
We've got a motion and a second
Yeah.
to
So
pass
this
as
is-
is and effective May 21st, beginning of May 21st, the mask mandate is optional. That's what's on the table, unless somebody would like to recommend to cancel and re-motion
Correct.
this. So do we have anybody that wants to cancel the motion as written?
I'm fine with that, as long as it's graduation. That was my biggest.
Graduation is safe on this.
So it's beginning May 21st, so we're good.
I do.
To cancel.
No.
No, to keep.
We have a
we
motion
were
and a second to
clarifying.
accept.
Yeah, as it reads, it does clarify that this,
Beginning.
the non-requirement of masks
Begins.
begins on the 21st. So that does include graduation as being on that date.
Yes.
Okay, with that said, is there, all those in favor of approving this resolution as presented? That's 8 yeas.
15-0.
And motion passes. Thank you very much. All All right. Our next action item is to consider approval of hiring of child care director. Ms. Brown?
Good evening, Superintendent Gallagher, President Montemayor Board of Trustees. I would like to bring to you today a recommendation for our new child care director. Our previous child care director, Ms. Lisa Hooten, has retired. And so we undertook screening candidates and interviewing, making a recommendation. And so the administration recommends approval of the hire of the new child care director for Little Elm ISD as discussed in closed session.
Is there a motion to approve the hiring of the child care director as presented?
So move.
All right. Mr. Flores, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Olson, is there questions or comments from Ms. Brown? All those in favor of approving the child care director? All right. Motion carries.
So with that, I'd like to just, for the record, say that we're proud to announce that Ms. Carrie McHugh will be the new child care director for Little Elm ISD, and we'll bring her to a future board meeting to make it official and introduce her to everyone.
Awesome. So the next item is consider approval of hiring of executive director for operation services. Ms. Brown?
Thank you. So we also undertook the process of screening candidates, interviewing candidates for our new executive director for operations services, many qualified applicants. And so at this time, the administration recommends approval of the hire of the new executive director for operations services for Little Elm ISD as discussed in closed session.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Blackwood, is there a second?
Second.
All right. Is there any questions or comments? Sorry, I'm all tongue-tied over here. Nope. All right, all those in favor of approving the hire of the Director of Operation Services? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much.
And so I'd like to announce that our new executive director for operations services is Mr. Alfred Gacious, and we'll bring him to a future board meeting for official introduction.
And I'm going to take a minute real quick. Mr. Rod Reeves is in here. We'll have time to say our goodbyes, but I want to publicly thank Mr. Reeves for his work over the years and wish him well on into the future. But we'll have time to say our goodbyes and thank yous. But I just wanted to say that. So thank you, Mr. Reeves.
Excellent. Next item is to consider approval of the 2021-2022 support FTEs based on campus and district needs.
Thank you. Our Board of Trustees has been so very supportive. We've brought some major needs to the board the past couple of months. And so we are now bringing 6 positions that are also district and campus needs. And they are support positions. We are a fast growth district, and with all of the growth that we're doing, we have some need for some support positions at our campus level and at the district level. So the 6 positions that we're requesting approval for this evening are 1 director of fine arts, a coordinator for math at the secondary level, a coordinator in our multimedia communications area, and 1 art facilitator, a bookkeeper for our high school campus, and an administrative assistant in our curriculum and learning department. So the total approximated for those 6 positions is about $425,000. And Dr. Weisman and I in closed session talked about how that will be funded with you all. And so with that, the administration recommends approval of the support FTEs detailed above, the 6 support FTEs to meet district and campus need for the 21-22 school year.
All right, is there a motion to approve these FTEs?
So moved.
Mr. Blackwood, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. English? All right, any questions or comments on these 6 FTEs? All those in favor of approval? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you.
And we have consider approval of our financial reports for March 2021. Mr. Weiss?
Good evening, President Montemayor, Superintendent, Board of Trustees. Thank you for the opportunity tonight. So we're presenting a few amendments to the general fund tonight. As you can see by the orange highlight, we're adding about $16,000 to our local revenue. The increase in revenue is mostly due to like funds we've taken in for hosting playoff games this spring. The yellow highlighted cells on this slide and the next represent our requested transfer of $200,000 from capital projects to the general fund to pay for the Windows 7 computer replacement costs that were approved at the April meeting. We're also requesting an approval of a transfer of $45,000 to the capital projects fund to assist with the purchase of the band trailer approved in April. The net of those two transfers is $155,000 as shown in gray. And as you can see from the green highlight, the amendments have a $0 impact on fund balance. And board policy requires that we maintain a fund balance of at least 24% of our annual operating expenditures, which is about $20.65 million. And so as you can see, we're meeting our requirement there. In our capital outlay fund, this has been updated to include all approved bond projects as of April 30th. And all projects are on track from a budget perspective. We have about $34 million in budget dollars remaining on approved projects. Moving on to our debt service fund. For debt service fund, if you look at the blue highlight, you'll see that we have realized about 98% of our budgeted revenue to date. So we're on track there. Our debt service payment in August will be about $17 million. And if you look at the orange highlight, we have enough allocated to cover our debt service payment there. And according to the green, if you look at the green cell, we're looking to add a little bit to our fund balance in the debt service fund this year. The administration recommends certain approval of the March 2021 financial reports as submitted.
Is there a motion to approve these financial reports as presented?
So moved.
All right, is there a second? Okay, any questions or comments from Mr. Weiss on these financial reports? All right, all those in favor of approval? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now from the consent agenda, Mr. Martin, we wanted to pull items H, which is consider approval of LMS conversion and renovation project demolition package. And item I, consider approval of Presswick subsurface correction and renovation action.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. You want to take LMS first?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have in your packet the demolition portion of this package. They are continuing to put together the final GMP that we will include in a master budget at our called meeting next week. So for now, though, in order to get the demolition started, we're asking that we approve the demolition budget that's presented, included in your package. There's also a budget and a tracking behind that that includes a few other items in addition to Balfour. We have a contingency in there. We also have some work that our cabling folks are doing now. They're currently over there taking a look at what needs to take place. So the administration recommends approval of the demolition budget and to authorize the superintendent or his designee to execute any required contract documents.
Is there a motion to approve this package as presented?
So moved.
All right, Mr. Olson, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Myers? All right, questions, comments?
Sorry, Rick, the word demolition scares me. I just wanted to clarify exactly. I'm sure it's not demolition, so mainly for the public. I think it's more just renovations, correct? We're not necessarily demolishing any part of the building. We are just basically renovating all of the building to meet the new outline of the building. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
You will not see anything being demolished on the outside of the building.
That's what I thought.
There are some interior partitions, walls that will come down in order to make open spaces available for some of these departments. We're also going to be putting up some walls inside to subdivide it. Almost all of the ceilings and lighting will come out and be upgraded. That's part of our energy proposal for the project as well. So yes, demolition is our technical term, but actually it is an interior renovation. If that sits better.
Yes, that sits much better. Just wanted to make sure.
I had a couple of questions. So the, what are they called? What do you guys call the extra buildings behind it? Learning cottages, whatever they were called.
Oh, the portable?
The portables. Are those moving? Are those,
There's one back there
Right.
that's in pretty sad shape.
Yes.
It's actually going to be taken down.
okay. And then is the building going to be off limits for the summer month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so no part of the building, gyms or anything will be able to be used?
We're having to take down the central power panels in the back of the building, and having to increase those. So there's going to be a period of at least 2 or 3 months where there'll be no power in the building. We're bringing a generator in to keep the MDF equipment running because there's several campuses that run off of that MDF. But other than that, and some generation for temporary lighting so people can see what they're doing, we really don't have any AC or anything else in there.
Will it be skirted all the way around? So due to the issues we had last weekend, nobody can get in and out of the building? Meaning some type of fence around the property?
As the work begins, yes. We're fortunate here in that during the renovation work, we do have a secured exterior. We have the doors, windows, the walls, everything is still there. So the public is protected that way. Once we start back doing the renovation work in earnest, putting the building back together, we'll have to put up fences for supply yards, for security purposes and things like that. So that, I hope that answers the question.
Just because we've had some issues with kids getting into the building. And so obviously when renovation starts, that'll be a work zone. I want to make sure that there's no, if somebody were to get in, there's no injuries or things like that that could occur. So I just want to make sure that it will be sealed pretty tight where people can't get in.
It will be up to Balfour to secure the building, and they do a pretty good job of that, but we'll make sure that's brought up as a concern.
Are there any summer leagues or sport programs or anything that we're counting on the gyms, the gym use, or any of the facilities that they're not going to have access to that have been moved on to either Walker or Strike or the high school or somewhere else?
I cannot answer that. The only impact that I know of might be the wrestling. And Dr. Purdy and I have talked about that. They may have to set something up in a gym at the start of school for wrestling.
Wrestling was going to use for summer camp. So obviously they're going to have to move because they were going to use the back part of the gym. And then, yeah, there were several others that were going to run skills and things like that, but we're looking to move to Walker.
Yeah, well, we have 2 middle schools now with 2 gyms each, and then of course the high school, and so we'll have a spot for them. But yeah, we've got to move forward on this. If we don't, I already talked to Rick about this. We're gonna run behind time, which is why you're bringing this tonight. Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
So when, if approved tonight, then when does it start? What's the first day that they'll have equipment out and they'll start? I know I saw people in there last weekend, but.
It'll take a couple of weeks to get all the contracts put together, insurance in, and get all their subs mobilized to go in and start doing the work. We can immediately, though, start doing things that our people need to do, our third party, like taking down, going up in the ceiling and disconnecting all of the cable that we have running through the building. We have miles and miles of it in that building, and we don't want to throw it all away. So we've got a contract with our Southwest folks to go in, disconnect at the outlets, roll it up, and keep it up high, out of the way of demolition, and then survey it as well,
Renovation.
so we can reuse it.
Renovation.
Sorry. Removal. How's that?
There you go.
Okay.
Better.
As the ceilings come down, none of that gets damaged, we're able to reuse it.
There's still a lot of equipment and stuff still in there. Is that, I think some of it's being auctioned. Is that getting moved out so that it can be sold?
Yes,
Or
everyone, all the departments have been given, I think it's the 25th of this month, have everything out. And if it's some of it's being relocated to Powell, some of it's going to the various campuses, some of it is going to be left, and that will be part of the removal of items.
Have have our booster clubs been given access to some of those items that may be excess in the building?
I've not been involved in that.
We actually need to pull, we
That's
actually
what
need to
they're
pull, we need to pull I, or L also
Gotcha. Okay.
to ask those questions, to ask those questions.
Okay. All right. So any more questions
Yeah, one
on
real quick. What's
the,
the projected completion date? Or do we know at this point in time?
Our goal is to be able to move in over Christmas break.
Okay.
That's another reason we're trying to jump the gun on getting our renovation started.
With the cost of building materials increasing exponentially, are we comfortable with the 31,000 in the contingency fund?
I'm sorry, with the what?
The contingency fund that we have, 31,000, are we comfortable with that, knowing that labor and building materials are increasing exponentially?
Oh, for this aspect of the
Yeah.
project? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thought you were talking about the master budget I want to bring next week. That one I'm not so comfortable with, but and given the facts that you just stated, it is going to be higher than what we were hoping it would be. But we're going to do everything we can to keep it as close as we can. But yes, those things are a concern.
all right. Any other questions, comments? Okay. So all those in favor of approving the project package as presented? All right, motion carries. All right. Consider approval for the Prestwick subsurface correction and renovation actions.
Yes, sir. In your package is the result of the CSP. We had two companies who responded to our CSP. They both submitted their proposals, the questionnaires. Then our committee reviewed those responses and compared those to the evaluation criteria. But each of them were scored separately. And then the scores were tabulated, and it wound up that the number one rank went to JB and Company, LLC. And then number two was the Due West.
Is there a motion to approve the renovation package as discussed?
So moved.
Mr. Olson, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Blackwood? All right. Any questions or comments on that? Any, all those in favor of approving? That's 6, and then I've been abstaining from this vote as I had a connection to one of those parties. It's the non-winning party, but I still want to keep myself removed from the process. Okay. And sorry, we're also saying we'd like to pull item L, the facility furniture, equipment, and material surplus. Mr. Reeves, you mind?
Thank you.
A few minutes. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Montemayor and board members and Superintendent Gallagher. As you see in your packet, there's a list of surplus items that we're seeing from Lakeside Middle School, and then also the kitchen equipment where it's not only Lakeside Middle School and Powell, but also Prestwick as well. And so we are asking you to deem these as surplus, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Oh, sorry. Yes. Is there a motion to approve the surplus list as disclosed?
So moved.
Mr. Olson, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Myers? Is there questions?
Oh, yeah. I guess the first question I'm a little concerned with, Rod, is new in the box, unopened equipment. And my fear is we're selling brand new equipment for penny on the dollars that we bought. Is there no way any of these electric ranges can be utilized at other facilities somewhere within or kept for future use, backup, something? I don't know. I'm just concerned about we bought all this equipment and now we're not using it. We're trying to sell it.
Well, some of the equipment can go to our boosters, if it's under $5,000, and specifically the kitchen equipment, if it's under $5,000, it can be donated as the board so deems. If it's over $5,000, it was capitalized, and so it has to be approved by TDA Texas Department of Agriculture. And then it has to go back to the child nutrition program. So we can definitely look, I get with Ms. Tarver again, just to double check that she's pretty on top of things that she doesn't use. And so there's probably a good reason. I don't have it for you tonight on why she placed that on the list, but we can definitely look at those items to be reused or given to a boosters as long as it's under $5,000.
Just a clarification on that.
Yes.
The district wouldn't be donating anything to the boosters because in the district bylaws and requirements, anything purchased by a booster club actually becomes property of the district.
Yes.
So the district would just be loaning it to itself to use. So it wouldn't have to go through any approval process.
correct.
It would just give them the right to, or give them the ability to say whether or not they want to use it. So it wouldn't have to go through any donation process or anything.
No, actually the child nutrition arm, the regulation arm, if it's under 5,000, the board can do whatever they want with it.
Okay.
So doesn't have to go through any other approval or anything like that.
Yeah, it just looks like there's a lot of equipment that I know at the football stadium that they use the concession stands, and I'm assuming the new one we just built in the high school and everything, and even the middle schools. There's ice machines in there. There's serving tables and stuff like that.
Yes.
There's a lot of equipment that they could potentially use just in some of those concession stands. All of us at one point in time have spent time in there, and that's one thing that they can use is space.
Yes.
And shelves and workspace. So I didn't know if one thing Mr. Olson and I had talked about is could they have the ability to look at some of the, see if they can
Yeah,
use it?
let me jump in real quick because I want to be real careful. I think what you may want to provide the board is specific what those items are, each of those items, and why they're being surplus. Because what we want to be careful with is, number one, are they out of date? Are they still in regulation to use? Are they operable? If they're new in the box, I would assume, but do they fit into these new,
No, absolutely.
do they fit?
Yeah, let's take it into consideration.
And so I would look into that. And then the one thing I want to caution is we don't have storage space for these items, which is one of the reasons why I assume they're on the list.
That's correct.
We don't have a warehouse.
So Mr. Martin finishes.
Yeah, we still don't have a warehouse. And as we grow, hopefully we'll have one.
Yes.
But I think that would be good. If you have a specific question about an item, or if you would just like them all, we'll be happy to provide that to the
Sure, we can
board.
do that.
I would just think if you can, if we can reach out to those clubs just to inquire, because I know that, for example, I just sent Danny tonight, the ice machine baseball's asking for.
Okay.
Because theirs just broke or something just happened to it, it doesn't work. So there's an ice machine sitting over there and, I sent it over to him. Obviously he'll get with you tomorrow, but maybe we can just reach out because I think from a concessions or booster club standpoint, they're using a lot of old stuff. I just
Definitely.
stole a fridge at Lakeside and moved it down to
Borrowed it.
concessions, borrowed it last weekend. It's just it's all, old. The concessions stand at the high school has an old fridge that barely works. The door doesn't close, those kind of things. So there might be options to send some of that material over to those booster clubs so they don't have to come out of pocket for some of that stuff.
Definitely. We will definitely do that.
A lot of times what they're looking for is space. Like there's some of the just stainless steel serving tables on here. Some of those would actually be very good work surfaces, especially in the football stadium. That's one thing that they are always lacking is space to do things. So just an idea.
And then I'm wondering on the $5,000 requirement, since it's going to a booster where it still stays district property, does that apply?
It does apply if it was bought with federal funds. So TDA has to approve that.
Okay.
And the funds have to go back. I believe there's only a couple items that are over it's per item. So there's only a couple items that are over $5,000 in value. So the majority of what you see in your packet can be reused at your discretion.
Is that depreciated value, purchase value?
I think it's purchase value. Purchase value. So I'm not sure, but I think it's purchase value. So
Most of the stuff that's that much money, they're not going to have a need or room for. So
Ms. Tarver did say the Prestwick is newer equipment and she would like to try to sell that. So the list that was at Prestwick. So
I would say pending the equipment,
pending the equipment.
pending
Yes.
the necessary equipment that it cannot be reutilized.
Yes, sir.
All right. So with that, I think we still go through the approval, getting onto the surplus list, but then knowing that we're going to try and source it internally first and then ultimately do what needs to
We'll
be done.
reach out to those programs before
Staff
any
understands
auction takes
our-
place.
Our intentions and our request within approving this is that we try to reutilize it first, then take it to sell.
Gotcha. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine. They understand our intention.
Yes, sir.
No, so we pulled it for discussion
Yeah.
and now we can vote. So all those in favor of approving this list? As discussed, with
discussed.
stipulations discussed.
Thank you very much.
All
Thank
right,
you- thank you, Mr.
Any
Reeves.
other consent agenda items that anyone had any questions on? Okay, so with that, is there a motion to present the motion to approve the consent agenda as adjusted with these items that we pulled? Mr. Flores, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. English? All right, all those in favor? All right, thank you very much. So for board comments, I'll be quick tonight. Just thank you, everybody. It was nice to have a full house in earlier tonight, seeing all those accolades. The wrestling program, that's amazing. First year in, it reminded me of the first year that we had, was it DECA or?
Yeah.
DECA, yeah, they also advanced on. I mean, it's.
Group to state first year.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing the dedication we have from our club sponsors and our activity sponsors and coaches. So that excellence is pretty great. So that's all I have. Thank you, all the administration for tonight and all that's going on. Any other comments?
No, thanks, staff, for working with us and helping us out. We couldn't do what we did without you guys. Thank you.
Don't take the staff and teachers this year. I know it's been a challenging year. It's really, it's like we're be up and down. So thank you and even the parents. With some of the challenges we've had in the community. So appreciate all the support. Communities have donated. In a year.
Dr. Pretty, thank you for these instructions and our tickets and all the specifics on graduation. I'm excited about my first graduation on Friday and that mask optional. Yes, pray for no, right. Yes, every head bowed, every eye closed.
Just 10 things, a couple of things. Mr. Reeves, thank you for turning on the air conditioner. The second item is, if everyone on the board is okay and Mr. Gallagher's okay, I'd like to have these tables removed and
We
resume our
are.
seats.
We are.
Next month.
This is the last meeting this way, so absolutely.
Thank you.
We can all sit closer together.
That's right. I was gonna say, she beat me too.
I think we can arrange that. Just board members, thank you all so much just for the support this year. Again, Mr. English, you said it well. This is the end of the year. Thanking the teachers, we cannot thank them enough. The teachers and the staff on the campuses, the administrators, we can't thank them enough for everything they did this year. This was a year unlike any of us have ever seen, and some of us have been doing this 25, 30 years. A special thank you to all of our staff members, and I also want to recognize the group that we have here because, with COVID, it's just, I cannot put into words the work that they did really to keep us going. And one of the goals that I had early on in the year, it may sound like a simple goal, but at the time, it was a serious goal. We didn't want to close any of our campuses. We wanted to keep all of our campuses open. We saw campuses across, or schools across other districts closing because of COVID. Because of this group right here, because of our teachers, our staff, our students, and our parents, we had, I would say, a very successful year in the middle of a pandemic. So just a huge shout out, a huge thank you, and just couldn't be any more proud than I am right now. And again, a great board meeting. No better board meetings than when we celebrate our students. So thank you all very much. And staff, thank you for staying late, but we're actually finishing earlier than what I thought. So appreciate y'all very much.
And on that note, is there a motion to adjourn? Dr. Thompson, is there a second? Mr. Flores, all those in favor? Thank you. If anyone.
Raise my hand.